Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web. It needs an update for my IDICBeer's painting challenge. What I've got to so far is I've painted the majority of the Asterians up to a certain standard. Basically these two have been, I wouldn't say completed yet, but they've had all the base coats and the highlighting and the washing and that. I need to do a couple more bits and pieces with those. These have all been base coated. It's had the red highlight, but it hasn't had the gold highlight. So let's just have a bash at doing that today then, shall we? And for this I'm going to be doing, give it a quick shake. I'm going to be using Auric Armour Gold. Hope you can see that. And it's just a case, I'll just get some of this on the brush and onto my wet palette and pop it away. And then it's just a case then of going over on the highlight areas, on the raised areas that are going to be hit by light. And I'm running by the premise that the light is coming from above. Yep. I do quite like this colour scheme for these. I think it suits them somehow. I know it looks a little bit cartoony, but I don't know, it seems to work. Oops, I knew there was something I'd forgotten to do on the others. These two round bits here. But I can always go back and do them again. That needs a little bit of a touch up there. So does that. And there's these parts down here. Just go back and give them a bit of a splat. I know they're not necessarily in highlights area, but it's good to show so that it's differentiated between the red. It shows just that little bit more detail. Oh, you can't really see them on a lot of these, but I think I've already done that one. So there we are. Right, so next we're going to go through the... Go find me paper towel then. Right, before we carry on any further, what I've also done is with these bits that I've stuck on for like scenery, I've painted in the fang and then give them a wash all over with Drakenhof Nightshade, and then give them a wash over the top of that with Nuln Oil. That's darkened them down a bit. I am going to be dry brushing over those with a paler blue colour in a bit, just to do some edge highlighting. Not a very bright blue, but a blue nonetheless. Next, what I wanted to do is get the Rune Fang steel. I don't have much of this, so unfortunately I forgot to pick some up last week when I was in GW, so never mind. As I said, it has been dry brush with iron breaker, but now it's just a case along the top areas just to pick out some of the detail. And I will be going over some of this with black. I'm not going to keep these guns exactly the same as this. There are some areas I can see I can use black on, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I just want to turt up around the hands. There we are. And that one's done as well. Okay, so those three guns have been done. That's all that's needed doing with those. I keep moving my paper towel and I never know where I put it. Okay, so now we want our Abaddon black, and there's not much of this to use. So I better just put a little bit on our wet palette. So we aren't using a vast amount of this. There's just certain areas we're going to get painted in the black, like here for instance. Anywhere else I'll do this part like so. Can't really get to the back of that, I'm afraid, so it's going to have to stay like as is. And then the same with this one. Tumpty too. And the handle as well. There we are. And there was one more, wasn't there? Yes, there. And this one, same again. They're on the same gun, so I don't see much point in doing anything different on each one. Or at least look on the same gun. Yep. So they are done. Now what I want to do is give an extra bit of highlight to the red armour, and that is by using Troll Slayer Orange. There we go. I'll get some of that on our wet palette. Don't need a great deal, and then it's just a case of adding a few spots here and there just to brighten it up a touch. nothing major. Try and keep some of the red underneath it, still visible. Just like so. Finally, just this, a few little touches here and there. Now, what we want now is the tissue paper, and we want a bit more black on the go because I've put a great amount down here. We've done that one. That one needs doing, so I'll just go over the entire Perm Blaster in black. And the same with this one. And there's two here. Just like so. And now we get just that little bit of the Runefang steel on our brush, and there we are. There's one. 2, 3, and then finally using the orange, we'll get a very fine tip brush, and in the middle we apply some of the orange, like so, and like so, and as I said, try and get a sharper point on your brush as you can for this bit. And then what we need now is a yellow colour, and for this we're using Flash Gitch Yellow, straight out of the pot, because I don't really see much point in using using the wet palette, just for a little spot right in the centre of the orange. Right, so just dab 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 dab, And as you can see, hopefully it gives you that effect of the increase of temperature there. There we are. Okay, so that's that bit done. What I want to do is just get, again, the black on this very thin brush and go over the eye areas. On some of them, because they're looking a bit flat. Okay, so there we go. That's that done. So that's our next lot that we've done for this. What we can do now, if we so needed, which we do so need, I'm going to be using a little bit of Calidor Sky. Again, straight out of the pot, just using it to go over these areas, just to give that highlight. Effect, because we're going to be coming back over and doing something else with this as well, but I want to give it the right effect first of all, if you get me drift. This I don't really need to do much on, because I'm going to weather this right down, to be honest. It's just going to look black by the time I've finished, but I do want that little bit of blue on it. Okay, so what we do now is, using our, wherever I put it, Abaddon Black and some Rhinox hide. When I can find that. Here we are. So this is Rhinox hide. And I'm going to mix these two together. You're not going to see much of the black. It's going to look fairly black and fairly dark, but it's not black. And it's also going to be not a dry brush as in the usual sense, because what it is, it's like a stippling effect that we're going to be doing on these areas. You'll have seen me do this effect before on the terrain for Deadzone, you know, on the buildings that I've done for Deadzone. You'll have seen me do it on that. It's exactly the same technique, just get it on your brush and dab. Now here where there's a lot of damage, we're going to be doing a lot more of it, because we want it to look as though it's been burnt. And going to do loads of it around there, but we still want some of the blue showing up in the top areas. And we'll do the same here, but here we're going to be having just the blue showing through a little bit. Oh yeah, and there's one more. Just like that. we go. That looks as though now it's been burnt and bombed and whatever else. And final parts for doing these is the metal areas. The metal areas, you'll have seen me do these on the my Undead Army for Kings of War, but we're going to be using Typhus Corrosion. You've seen this one before, and we're going to be plastering all that over these pipes anywhere where there's metal. These are going to be, or the bases of those are going to be embedded into our tum, whatever it's called. You know, the stuff that I put on, the basing material, medium. We're going to be using that. I'm painting this Typhus Corrosion all over the metal areas, but I'm only going to be rusting the top parts. Okay, so that's that part done, and we're going to just go over that part, and that's it. So when that dries, which doesn't really take long to be honest, but I'm not going to do it in this video, I don't think, because I don't think it's going to dry quick enough to allow it to be done. No, it's still wet, that one's still wet. So these are nearly done. There is one I'm going to have to retouch up, which is that, in fact no, I'm going to leave that as is, because he's got a different gun, so I'm going to have him so that he's got a slightly different armour at the back. But the majority of these ones are now done, complete. All that remains now are these to do, and the vehicles. So we have 2 of these to do, that's the base, and 3 of the top parts, 2 weapons and a communications array. So that's what we have left to do, and then we can start on the the basing medium, which is going to be our usual Dark Earth from Vallejo. You've seen that one before, but that's what we have in the pipeline. I will finish off doing these, and then when we come back we can paint one of these up, or as close as we can to one of these, either this one or that one. I'm going to change colour for this one slightly, and I mean slightly. It has a slightly different uniform, so it's not going to be the red and gold. I'm not quite sure what colour we're going to do it, but I'll think of something. So that's our part 2, or the second video in our IDICBeer's Painting Challenge 2015 series. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.